Mabuhay! Good day to each and everyone. Welcome to another presentation video for this semester in our core subject, THC8, the Philippine Tourism Law. Before I start, I'm gonna introduce myself first. And hi, my name is Maria Ellen P. Onyot of BSHM3A, and in today's presentation, we will tackle the first chapter of our lesson. This is the introduction of the Philippine Tourism Law. Yet, before we dive into the topic, these are the learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, students must know how to identify the different kinds of laws relevant to the tourism, travel, and hospitality industry. Second, students can now understand and explain the concept of tourism law. Third, students can enumerate important sources of tourism law. And lastly, students can give examples of applications of tourism law. Before I forget, here's the topic outline for this chapter. First is the definition of law. Second, kinds of law as to purpose and scope. Third is concept of tourism law and its importance and application. Fourth is sources of law relevant to the tourism, travel, and hospitality industry. Okay, before we unravel the concept of tourism law, let's go to the basics first. Right before we are born, laws and ordinances are already here. They say law makes the world go around in peace and harmony, and yet what is this really all about? So what is law? It is said that law is a set of rules that guide how people should act in society. It ensures fairness and protects everyone's rights. In its general and abstract sense, derecho, it is the science of moral laws founded on the rational nature of man that governs his free activity for the realization of the individual and social ends of life under an aspect of mutual conditional dependence. In short, laws are principles that guide our behavior to help us achieve personal and social goals while respecting each other's rights. While in its specific and concrete sense or lay, it is defined as a rule of conduct, just and obligatory, promulgated by legitimate authority, and of common observance and benefits. This means that laws are made by the government so that people must follow to ensure order and fairness. Also, it is the responsibility and obligation of any individual or any citizens of Philippines to follow and respect the laws, rules, and ordinances, just like obeying traffic laws to ensure road safety and avoid accidents. And now we will talk about the kinds of laws. So there are two kinds of law. These are according to its purpose and its scope. So for according to its purpose, we have here the substantive law and the adjunctive law. Substantive law means a law which creates, defines, and regulates rights, or which regulates the rights and duties which give rise to a cause of an action. So this answers the question, what can you do and what is required of you? Another type of law as to purpose is the adjunctive law, in which it provides the method of aiding and protecting certain rights. This tells you how to protect your rights or solve disputes. It explains the steps you should take if someone violates your rights. And now, let's talk about the kind of law according to its scope. So we have here the general or public law and special or private law. So for general or public law, a law which applies to all of the people of the state or to all of a particular class of persons in the state with equal force and obligation. So the examples are the criminal laws, international laws, and political law. Criminal law. This law deals with crimes and their punishment, as well as the procedure for that purpose. For example, is the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, or Republic Act No. 9165, addresses offenses related to the manufacture, sale, and use of illegal drugs. Another example is the international laws. These are the body of rules or principles of actions governing the relations between the states. For example, is the United Nations Charter of 1945. This establishes the principles of international relations and the role of the UN in maintaining peace and security. Another example is the political law. These are laws that regulate the relations sustained by the inhabitants of a territory to the sovereign. For example, is the 1987 Philippine Constitution. This establishes the framework of the Philippines government and defines the rights and duties of citizens. And another type or kinds of law according to its scope is the special or private law. So this law which relates to particular persons or things of a class. For example, these are the civil laws, maritime law, and the mercantile law. So civil law. These are the mass of precepts which determines and regulates those relations of assistance, authority, and obedience existing among members of a family, and those which exist among members of a society for the protection of private interests. For example, is the Family Code of the Philippines, Executive Order Number 209. This governs family relations, including marriage, legal separation, and property relations among spouses. Another is the Maritime Law. So the law deals with commerce by sea, involving regulation of ships and harbors and the status of seamen. For example, is the Philippine Ports Authority Rules and Regulation or PAR or the PPARR. This regulates the operations of ports and harbors in the Philippines, ensuring safe and efficient maritime transport. Lastly, is the mercantile law. These are the laws of commercial transactions derived from the law of merchant, which includes commercial paper, insurance, and other types of agency. For example, is the Insurance Code of the Philippines, the Presidential Decree Number 1460. This governs the practices of insurance companies, including policies, underwriting, and claims processes. Concept of tourism law. So tourism is the act of traveling for leisure or pleasure. It also includes efforts made by countries to attract visitors. According to the World Tourism Organization, tourism involves activities of people traveling and staying in places outside their usual environment for not more than a year, whether for leisure, businesses, or other purposes for their travel. Tourism law refers to a set of rules and principles that regulate the relationships, rights, and responsibilities of people involved in the tourism. This includes the tourist, who are the traveler, and the service providers such as the employees. So, for example given is that a hotel must follow tourism laws, such as providing safe and clean accommodations. Tourists, in return, must respect the hotel's rules. Next topic is the importance and application of tourism law. Tourism has become a major industry encompassing businesses such as food services, hotels, transportation, travel agencies, and even medical tourism. It's no longer just about leisure. It has become a necessity for economic growth, creating jobs and business opportunities. Given the vast number of transactions in tourism industry, government regulations are essential to ensure fair business practices, consumer protection, and industry development. These laws cover areas such as travel safety, business licensing, labor rights, environmental protection, and taxation. For example, tourism laws help regulate hotel operations to maintain quality standards, ensures airlines follow safety guidelines, and protect tourists from fraud by enforcing rules on travel agencies. Studying tourism law helps businesses, employees, and travelers understand their rights and responsibilities. So our core subject explores Philippine tourism laws, the role of government agencies, and real-life scenarios in the tourism, travel, and hospitality industries. By applying legal principles, it aims to provide insights into resolving industry-related issues and ensuring sustainable tourism growth. And now we will talk about the sources of law relevant to the tourism, travel, and hospitality industry. First is the Philippine Constitution. It is the fundamental law of the land to which all other laws must conform. Second, statutes or legislative enactments. It is the written will of the legislative department rendered authentic by certain prescribed forms and solemnities, prescribing rules of actions or civil conduct with respect to persons, things, or both. Examples are Dangerous Drugs Act, Public Service Act, Civil Code of the Philippines, Labor Code of the Philippines, Revised Penal Code, the Seatbelt Law, and lastly is the local government ordinances. The third one is the administrative or executive orders, regulations, and rulings. These are issued by administrative officials under legislative authority. And these are the examples. So, first one is the rules and regulations promulgated by the Secretary of Tourism to govern the accreditation of hotels, tourist inns, motels, apartels, resorts, pension houses, and other accommodation establishments. B is BIR circulars and rulings. C is the administrative issuances by the Department of Foreign Affairs. D is omnibus rules implementing the Labor Code of the Philippines. And the fourth source is the judicial decisions or jurisprudence. These refer to the decisions of the Supreme Court in interpreting the laws or the Constitution. Fifth is the custom. It is a rule of conduct which in a given place and among given groups of people that has been followed for an appreciable time. Sixth and last but not the least is the other sources. These refer to the decisions of foreign tribunals and opinions of textbook writers. So that's all for this chapter. I hope you learned something. And again, my name is Maria LMP Onyot from the SHM3A. Thank you.